Okay,
We're
again,
live.
hello everybody. Here is another session for the podcast with the one and only Martin Cruz. Before we get into it, guys, let's ask Martin Cruz how he's been and what he'd like to share so far as a beginning part of this podcast conversation. Martin Cruz, please take it away.
Yeah, feeling good, Matt. So I'm here. I'm here in Muntinlupa, which is Metro Manila area. Matt, where you at?
I am in Rojas City, the seafood capital. Most of the people that view this podcast come from here, man, and they're
Okay.
mostly young people, and there's some older generations there. And I can honestly say I've spoken to them, and whatever you're about to say is not that uncommon to them, since
Okay.
I invited you, and I really know uh, we're so relatable. So yeah, go for it, man. How are you?
All right,
And
man.
yeah.
So yeah, so I'm good, man. Here in Metro Manila, Luzon. So people familiar with the Philippines. Matt's further south in Visayas in Rojas City. I am Today is good. I was able to rest. So you mentioned that earlier. I'm set up to win. I did my
Mhm.
stuff, man. I did my training for work, 6 p.m. Before that, I did me time. So for
Mhm.
you introverts or homebodies, which is locked up in your room like a caged animal, even just getting out of the house,
Mhm.
man, change of
Yeah.
environment, man, it's like life to the blood, man. Also helps when you see a beautiful person, like,
Mm.
or beautiful people, let's put it that way,
Yeah.
outside. It's really inspiring. And then yeah, I just had a table by myself, had coffee.
Mhm.
That was my 1 hour break of recharge for myself. And then yeah, before that, you know, I'm good, man. Like I set my intention. I'm here for this podcast. Put it in my calendar, and then we updated each other. Here we go.
Yeah. Thanks, man. And one defining thing about you that has always been a beacon wherever I'm in the room with you is that you always show up for your disciplines and affirmations every day. This is a schedule I always see you do. Talk to us a bit more why and how this began and the journey that we see you now on from the beginning
Oh,
to here.
okay. Well, for Matt, and you can clear it up if I follow your flow, right? Whenever I
Yeah.
wake up, I count my blessings. I'm not sure if that's what you see usually when I post. So I started that some years ago, maybe 3 to 5 years ago. I lost track
Hmm.
every
Hmm.
day. And I didn't know that was called gratitude journaling. I didn't know, a lot of stuff. I was just mainly doing that for my own sanity and survival. So we're getting a little deep here, but hey, that's
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah. Let's go.
Um, I did that because by default, whenever I wake up, my mind thinks in the worst case scenarios, like
Mm.
fatalistic. So whenever I count my blessings, I didn't know it's over the years I realized it's actually like training my mind to be positive or to just think in a healthier way. Because by default, I think I think like I'm gonna fucking die. Sorry, like
Hmm.
that's
Yeah. Yeah.
really
Yeah.
how it is, man. Like
Yeah.
dark
I
shit.
understand you.
So those who could relate, right?
Yeah.
Hashtag relate. So I
Mm.
had to do that. It's like if you go to the gym or if you take a walk or exercise every day physically, mentally. That's why I do that. Even to just get up, brush my teeth, make my bed,
Hmm.
like to fix it up so it doesn't look like a
Hmm.
mess whenever I, you know, get back here. Uh,
Hmm.
Little things, man. I had to learn because I grew up again as someone hard on myself. I would beat myself up so bad. Like,
Hmm.
I would say the meanest things. Like, I don't know if I shared this with you in one of the level 2 seminars with Coach Bang,
Hmm. Hmm. Please go
beingness.
ahead.
I shared,
Tell us
yeah,
about it.
the they would ask us, "What's the voice in your head?" or "What would you say to yourself?" People had different
Mm-hmm.
answers. Mine was, "I'm a worthless piece of shit."
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, and some reacted like that. Some people reacted that way. I think some
I
people
didn't see
were
that coming.
quiet, maybe because they could relate. Like, oh shit,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for
whatever this
sure.
person
For sure,
said,
yeah.
I say that to myself too. Maybe even worse, right? So some people reacted like
Yeah.
you. Isis, she was so supportive. She said, you're not a worthless piece of shit." So
Mm-hmm.
there were people who were supportive, but
Yeah.
that's why I do that. I start by counting my blessings. So another mentor, someone I learned from in 2020 onwards, Tony Robbins, because I attended
Mm-hmm.
Unleash the Power Within, his
Right.
entry level seminar. Then I attended Date with Destiny. It's like the higher level seminar after. He calls that stacking wins. So if you think, why
Mm-hmm.
are you so structured, Martin? How come you put in your calendar podcast with Matt Yusay?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I stack wins. When I count this in
Mm.
my blessings with you,
Mm.
so
Wow.
let's say I try to take a screenshot of it. Boom. So
Mm-hmm.
when I count this as a blessing, I out of integrity's sake, I'll only count the
Nice.
blessings that I did. Because if I didn't show
Mm.
up for this podcast, it's
Mm.
man, I got no place writing that in my blessings. Unless I
Mm.
show up
Wow.
and
Wow.
unless I do it. So that's what I mean by stacking wins. I would write it down. Now, people might think, Martin, this is one side is the negative voice. Oh, Martin, you're just trying to show off. Oh, Martin, why are you going to write that down? How come you're posting it on Facebook on public? Do you want to get likes? Do you want people to see? That's the fucking negative voice. The other
Mm-hmm.
side of it, which is healthier, is man, I'm proud of myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Took
Wow.
effort to do this. And then I only write what I do,
Yeah.
right? For integrity's sake. Now, if Matt, the only time I
Mm-hmm.
would take that down is if Matt says, "Hey, man, please remove that from your journaling or whatever," because I don't want, and I don't think you would, but if someone
Mm-hmm.
says,
Yeah.
out
Well.
of respect, I would, man, like out of your privacy. So I
Mm.
count it. And another reason is if I don't write it down, I'm gonna forget, man.
Mm.
So if you
Yeah.
ask me, Martin, what did you accomplish yesterday? Dude, I don't
Mm-hmm.
fucking know. Open my
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
journaling, open my
Yeah.
Facebook. That's the reason why I do it. Because I forget.
Mm.
Dude, I don't have a
Nice.
fucking
Yeah.
photographic memory. I'm gonna
Mm.
forget,
Me
man.
too.
So, unless I check my calendar or I use Facebook, again, if people don't like it or react, that's fine, man. It's just for myself.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yes.
If I see a picture, even better. If I just see what I wrote, oh, I did this, I did this, then maybe I'm not a worthless piece of shit. I've been doing that
Mm.
for like at least 3 years every day. So, yeah, to wrap it up, if people will say, "Oh, Martin, are you all good now?" Like a magic pill. No. That's why I
Mm.
still keep
Mm-hmm.
doing it. It's like if you go to the gym or you work out and you're like, "Oh, do you have abs already? Is that it?" So you stop. No. It
Mm.
never ends, right? If I
Mm.
stop doing it, you're gonna lose the abs, or even on a deeper level, your health.
Mm.
And then on the deepest level,
Mm.
this is what I learned over the recent years, and I'll throw it back to you after this, is
Mm. Yeah. Please.
aside from the physical, I learned this from a woman, dude, in her 50s.
Yeah.
When she
Mm.
works out, it's 90% for her mental health. And I started
Mm.
to get that. So if you don't do it, dude, your willpower, it's you're gonna lose it so fast. The brain's gonna get moldy. It's gonna take so much effort to do the smallest things. So it's like ninety
Yeah.
percent for mental, dude, mental health. So yeah, I'll throw it back to you. So it's
Yeah.
not one
Thank you,
sided.
Martin. Yeah. Thank you so much for bringing up to light what actually happens in your mind and what is so interesting about the recording, the data that you put in social media is just that you're expressing what is something that you use as a tool to actually get things done and progress. I actually wrote down something kanina while this afternoon while I was thinking about you is that
Yeah.
you, man, you actually just connect to commitment right away. And that's something alone stands alone as something so strong enough to just push through many barriers and boundaries. Fear of judgment is destroyed with this just the sheer commitment you have. You're the only person I know that has that kind of commitment that's built into you. And again, opinions of others and fear of judgment seem to not uh, even doesn't even you don't even feel it as I think. And because of that, man, and you realize that as an advantage and to get things done and to move forward and to be with people that have mustered out their own special and unique strength in life too, with battling fear of judgment and opinions of others, right? And to be somewhere nicer. You tell us first, what is something nicer now in the field of your mind, man? And tell us. And I actually know how you do it. I actually seen you a lot in action, just as far as I can. And I could really say that what you've learned in the field before the field, and now you're in the field, and going against, yeah, again, fear of judgment and opinions of others, not feeling it. How do you touch? Because you touch people with how you were touched by your knowledge and the things you learned, and you and know. So please, again, tell us a bit about what it looks like after the lessons of synced in. What does that place look like mentally for you? And obviously, you touch people with the same depth that you found yourself in. So yeah, please go for it. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, man. Well, straight up, it's clarity, peace. I think the last word I would say
Mm.
is sanity. So I'll also clarify this, Matt. When you say the fear of judgment of others, I feel that every day, even right now. So by default, I always like fluctuate or flux between that. Right now, I feel clear because I know you're a good person. Because we've chatted, we've talked in the past. Like I know who you are. I
Yes,
know where your heart is.
likewise, same,
So
likewise.
like I could feel the vibe now out there in social media. And by the way, you don't have to do it my way because I changed my settings to public. So
Mm-hmm.
that's an extreme
Nice.
test. Like I intentionally had to do that. Default settings of Facebook is like friends only or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
private. So you don't have to do it that way. You could do it in private if you have your own handwritten journal. You have your own I don't know what apps or live journal like back in the day stuff you could do your own. I just I have a weird reason why I made it on public.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's long story short, it's like if there was a Martin in a parallel universe, at least he would be able to access whatever I'm posting out there because it's public. All he
Mm-hmm.
has to do is just facebook.com/Martin Cruiser, and he's like, oh, these are all the answers. Thank you, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I put it on public. But then I still feel that fear of rejection or people, the judgment. And then I'll shift to the answer because you were asking.
Mm-hmm.
The way I learned it is just through knowledge. And in particular,
Mm-hmm.
knowledge is super powerful. But one
Mm-hmm.
thing I value more is wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that cheesy line from like Mean Girls, like, why do you love math? Because it's the same in every country. So
Mm-hmm.
wisdom is more like, because dude, I'm super impatient. I'm a bad liar. And I have a low tolerance for
That's good.
bullshit.
Mm,
So
that's
wisdom
good.
is like, it's the truth wherever you go. So if there's one thing that I would seek, it's that. Because I don't want to waste my fucking time
Mm,
with like
mm,
minutia or bullshit, right? Like stuff that doesn't
mm,
matter.
mm,
So and that, dude, maybe people will take that the wrong way. They're gonna say, dude, you're gonna
Mm,
have a few friends. I don't mind, man. I don't mind. So
mm. Yeah,
that
totally.
whenever
I
I got
understand, man.
the truth, dude, or like the higher truth, the higher reality. And I'll
Hmm.
give a quick example. It's not even that
Yeah,
deep.
please.
So you said in my work, my field, let's say when I faced rejection, dude, as a life insurance agent, I started
Hmm.
in November 2014, so it's been like nine
Hmm.
9 years plus.
Let's talk about that bit.
People,
Yeah.
dude, if I expect to present to you and then like you buy a policy from me, that's
Hmm.
not reality, man. Penetration rate here in the Philippines, in the country, 1%, super low.
Mm.
So if I
Yes, kind of low.
expect you to like buy and then you don't, then I get bitter about it,
Mm.
right? I get angry. Dude,
Hmm.
I'm ignoring 99% of reality or the truth, right?
Mm. Mm.
So and people will say, what's the relevance insurance? Man, if you get rejected by a girl, it's
Mm.
the same thing. If you like apply for a career or some work, and then it's the same thing. If you ask your family member, relative, right, and then they suddenly scene zone you, it's the
Hmm.
same
Hmm.
goddamn thing, motherfuck face.
Hmm.
And I say this to
Hmm.
myself. It's not to like,
Hmm.
dude, I wish I knew that so it would hurt less, right? Dude, if you're
Hmm.
married, she could leave you. That shit's getting trite already, dude. Gas na yun eh.
Hmm.
I'm like, fuck, okay, that's the
Hmm.
truth, right? I wish we lived in a fucking Disney fairy tale world where everyone lives happily ever
Hmm.
after. Now, there are some who do find the right partner by becoming the
Hmm.
right person first, right? Which is what I'm
Hmm.
learning.
Right,
And
right,
then,
right.
and whatever happens, man, they have the strength and the grace to still live
Hmm.
on, whatever happens, both people. So, yeah, dude, whenever I find out the truth, knowledge or like higher wisdom, that
Hmm.
has helped give me clarity, peace, or even just sanity, dude. Sanity. And when I say
Mm.
sanity, dude, last thing I'll throw it back to you is
Yes,
I'm
please.
into guns, man. I got guns
Hmm.
here. I got into guns, I think, when I
Hmm.
was 13 years old. And then when I was of
Mm.
legal age, I really had to do my own thing because my dad wasn't into it. Then I
Hmm.
discovered
Hmm.
later on my mom's
Hmm.
side was into guns.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
if I don't, if you don't have sanity, dude, that's real dangerous. If you
Right,
if you have
right,
guns around you,
right,
or you're into motorcycles or
right, right,
whatever,
right.
right? So yeah, throw it back to you.
Yeah, amazing, man. Well, in the face of rejection and multiple layers of challenges under the category of difficulty, and where you find yourself in arms, you're equipped with not just with just guns, with actually resources, abilities, reach, and if you're not, you know, healing and recovered, these things could affect you not only mentally but physically. Your health will decline, you take less chances in life. Now tell us, Martin, where under all these overwhelming challenges, and I've seen you in the complete opposite environment, man, what does healing and recovery look like, take and do for you to just transition? What can we do, Martin? Yeah.
Man, that's a really good question. So I'll
Mm,
give some
yeah.
practical answers to maybe a little more, if you're not used to me, a little more woo woo,
Mm,
like out there.
yeah.
Although I don't like sharing stuff that either I didn't try or test, or if it's
Yeah.
not
That's
real
great to
or the
hear.
truth. So practical first. So when I 2014, so this is fresh off. I came from a 9 year
Right.
relationship. I was
Oh,
27
yeah.
years old. That was a huge part of my
Mm,
life. I didn't know what
it
mental
is.
health was, emotional health, depression,
Mm,
all that stuff was. The
mm,
first thing I did was maybe I allowed myself to just,
mm-hmm,
and this might not sound like good advice,
mm.
but I
Please, please.
allowed myself to like fall into the abyss, man.
Mm,
So that's one of the darkest, most painful, and uncertain times of my life because I didn't know what was gonna happen,
Mm,
and I didn't work, man. I resigned from my
mm,
first corporate job after 3 years.
mm,
I didn't work for like half a year, man. From like
mhm,
May to
mhm,
October, I wasn't working.
mhm,
So after that, like I guess I didn't also judge myself too hard. I was just so
mm,
foobar like fucked up beyond any return or something. So after
yeah,
that,
totally relate. I understand you.
so for those dude, and I'm not saying I'm the worst. I know someone who ended up going
Mm,
to jail. There are other people
mm.
they end up as worse drug addicts or they kill themselves. So I'm not saying I'm the worst.
It's
Uh,
challenging, yeah. I understand you.
so after half a year, I think the next practical tip or step I took was I took a risk. So
Mm,
I I joined this build your business business proposition. I didn't know it was about life insurance. I had
mm,
no idea it was gonna be a sales type of work. So, cause dude, I'm a fucking introvert, right? Like, don't like
I
going
understand
out,
you. I'm
selling,
aligned.
talking to people. Yeah. So, I started took a chance, tried it in November
Nice.
2014, and then yeah, man, I guess sales kasa was really good
Yeah.
exposure, man, for me.
Yeah, it
So
is.
one, you know how brutal it could be, especially if you're selling life
Yeah,
insurance.
it
So many
is.
jokes about it that are
I
true.
understand.
So
Yeah.
a mentor taught me this. I'm not sure if it was as early as 2014, Owen Cook. So he said,
Mm,
if you're tripping out over small shit, you need bigger
mm,
shit to trip out over, son.
mm,
So unless you have a near death experience, the next
mm,
closest thing you can do is something like that, man. Like
mm.
change of environment, a change of, a life event or something like that. And
Yeah.
hopefully it's constructive or healthier. And then I tried it. I tried to brute force it. Became an achiever
Mm.
2015, did $1 million roundtable in 2016.
Right,
And
right.
then, well, here's another practical tip. When I did the $1 million roundtable, which I love,
Mm.
it's when you meet people, dude, this is my secret, my personal reason why I love $1 million
Yeah, please.
roundtable. People will say, do it for the status, the prestige, the income, you earn a
Mm.
million. The reason why I did it was they were they were not selfish. That's why I
Mm.
love the $1 million round
It's
table for
amazing, yeah.
that reason. So again, I don't know, not everyone by the way, not everyone's perfect. So the
Yeah.
best ones I met,
True.
I don't know if you call like they come from a place of abundance. So
Mm.
they'll just share with you, even if it's like their trade secrets, they'll still share it. Even if you're
Yeah.
from a
I love those people.
competitor, yeah, dude, competitor company, they'll still help you. Even if they're from
Mm.
a different country, they will still help you. So
Mm.
that's what I love about the $1 million round table.
Yeah.
They were not selfish. So that one was very healing for me. Because I think one of
Yeah.
the greatest needs we have is unconditional love. And I'm going to speak in a very realistic and practical way.
Yeah,
Dude,
please.
j- I know you're a very kind person, but if you
Thank
don't
you.
have money and
Thank
you
you.
haven't eaten, dude, I understand. We can all be fucking monsters, me, myself
Yeah.
included. So that's why I learned the value of take care of your needs, right? Or mine. So
Yeah. Yeah.
later on, so $1 million round table, yeah, they were unselfish people. They were the closest thing to unconditional love that I met in
Mm.
2016.
Mm.
And then LUAP, the local version, Life Underwriters Association of the Philippines. I
Mm.
just served 3 years as a board of trustee. That was
Mm-hmm.
very
Wow.
helpful for my spiritual health. I believe.
Mm.
Like when you give to people unconditionally, you're not paid for it.
Mm.
I believe that's also human need. Dude, you don't have to become a priest or a nun or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You could do it in your
Yeah.
own way. And if you don't do that, I have seen people who earn a lot of money or who so career focused and they kill themselves. They're hollow.
Mm.
And I almost
Wow.
felt that because they don't have the spiritual uh
Yeah.
health or side of it. It's like that
Yeah.
line, that quote, what is it to inherit the world and to lose your soul, right? It's like a
Right.
Bible um line or quote. So those were the practical stuff. And then other stuff that helped me in my healing process in 2018 onwards was I got into personal development, T. Harv Eker. 2018 to 2019, I did Quantum Leap, invested a lot of money into that.
Mm-hmm.
2020, I got into Tony Robbins. In that time period, I also started training locally with Coach Bam, so Life
Mm.
Guide.
Yes.
And then that was for my emotional processing and healing. So just so the people know in this podcast, I grew up very traditional
Mm-hmm.
Roman Catholic upbringing, and then all boys
Mm-hmm.
school, grade school, high school. Boys don't
Mm-hmm.
cry, boys don't like
Mm-hmm.
talk like this with each other. For
Mm-hmm.
some reason, growing up, like it's all about, did you see the basketball game? Sending pictures of shit in the
Yeah.
toilet to each other, kalokohan,
Yeah.
like that. So I'm not saying that's
Yeah.
bad. Like that's also
Indeed, though.
healthy. Like not to take life too seriously. And
Yeah.
then it's just the deeper side. Like I I wish back then,
Yeah.
which was healing for me, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm just fast forwarding. I think
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah.
I got into ayahuasca. So it's plant medicine.
Mm.
If ever you want to
Interesting.
ask more about that later, I got into ice baths, so that's more
It's been
practical.
interesting. Yeah. Yeah. That. Yeah.
In November 2021, so I reconnected with a batchmate, and he's my ice bath teacher, Mark. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing that over the past years. So it's resilience training, and then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think those were the practical healing tools that I've
Yeah.
learned over the years.
Yeah. And what's interesting, man, you talked about a lot of things where I'm also going to in terms of you being the guest. Yeah, which
Okay.
is first one is that 9 year relationship really struck a chord in you that vibrated where I myself empathize and I've been there myself. And it's been a journey going, if we were to go back together, me and you, bro, like when we can sit down and look at our own past and seriously assess in detail where the mistakes happened and realize maybe you weren't the mistake or there was a lack of a fundamental there. And what's interesting, man, is that you heard stories where even as a challenger, one would share the greatest advantages that he or she had, so that and the philosophy for them to achieve more. And the philosophy I think there is it's abundant,
Yeah.
where the best parts of you gave. And looking back, in the past, that has been always the moving factor between us, you and me, and the others who are similarly like us. It's always when we give our best, where we're left alone to love in our own devices, where our greatest change and our greatest realizations happen. And through others, actually, you've been to many communities, high quality people, and it's always evident that they share their most intimate thoughts about where they progressed in their life, how they did it, how they shared it, and how they talk, just be with it themselves before they show up in showtime on stage, where you are right now with me. And I appreciate every bit of sharing where it comes from going here to the journey, like every step of the way, and then you find as you show up for us here. And tell us a bit about the healing, man. I know you're big on ice bath. You're big actually on the yoga and meditation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell us about how it showed up in your life with so much realization. How did you meet it, and how did it meet you?
Yeah. So, man, that's a good question. So the healing is one of the most important things in my life right now. Ice baths, it started with that November 2021. So I'm shouting out to Mark, man, Mark Beltran,
Yeah.
my ice bath teacher.
Mhm.
I saw him in this
Yeah.
blue plastic Orocan drum. He filled it with ice and then water in his
Mm.
garage. So the ripple effect, man, it just made me curious. I'm like, look at this guy doing some crazy shit. I want to do that too. And then I
Mhm.
signed up for his course. It was like a 5 day
Mm.
course, $5,000, shamelessly.
Mm.
Plugging
Oh,
it
that's a
because it
lot.
was really worth
That
it
is a
for
lot.
me. And dude, this guy, man, he invested a lot, man. Invested a lot of
Mm.
money in training. He invested like 70,000 in his yoga
Mm.
training. I get it, dude. I invested 310,000 in my quantum leap. So
Wow.
he was sharing his best lessons. That was my way of supporting him because I could be
Mm.
really creeps with money. Like I could
Mm.
be really, I don't know how you say that in
Yeah.
English, but
Yeah, yeah. But an
stingy or
education,
whatever.
you're so
Yeah, it's
out
a
there
lot of
with it
money,
with terms of
dude.
money. Yeah.
So I
Me
wanted
too.
to do it for
Actually.
the ice bath lang. It looked cool, right? It's kind of like a calculated risk. I didn't want to do it
Mm.
by myself, dude. If I step into like ice water and then I go into cold shock, I could fucking drown. That's how
Yeah.
my mind works, So I'm like, I'll do it calculated
That is
risk.
fear.
Yeah, with this guy, he knows he's been through it, he's done it, and then he can teach. I didn't understand why he was emphasizing so much breath work and then the yoga,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
which was his
Mm.
training. Like he spent a lot of money on. So I
Mm.
only got it later on because the ice bath is the flashy part, and it's
Mm.
intense. It is intense. That's why I still do it. It's that
Yeah.
the breath work is the
Yeah, you do.
technique. So I'm gonna share with you some like this is like the hidden gems, the hashtag gold. Like if you want like the best parts of it for free.
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
you do an ice
Please.
bath, it's like a simulated anxiety attack. So
Mm.
the way, the tool that you get through it is through the breath work. So like the Wim Hof
Mm.
breaths, the Ujjayi
Mm.
breath, the calming
Yes.
breath.
Yeah. Mm.
Ah. And to consciously do that, during an anxiety attack,
Yes.
extremely difficult, man. It's like
Yes. It
telling
is
someone
actually hard.
stay calm when somebody puts you in pain, dude. It's like it's
Yeah.
counterintuitive. So
It's
do
against,
it
yeah.
again. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yoga, by the way, because people think it's for sexy girls or like whatever,
Mm-hmm.
flexible people. Yoga will
Right.
put you in very difficult positions where it's hard to
Mm.
breathe. That's why the breath
Mm.
work kind of tandem, it goes
I
with it.
love that.
So
That's a good way to go
yoga,
into it.
yeah, it trains you to be calm or to breathe in a
Mm.
very difficult physical, sometimes emotional, mental positions. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was learning from yoga. There's also a bonus after the ice bath. The way Mark does it,
Mm.
really good. He'll also do
Mm.
this thing called down regulating. So up regulating is like when you're getting intense, right? Your body, the stress, the healthy stress. Down regulating is like the first up regulating is like fight or flight. Down regulating is like the rest and digest part, which is also where healing happens. So
Yeah.
one part in the meditation after the ice bath, there's this thing called the shavasana.
Mm-hmm.
Shavasana, for those who know
Interesting.
in yoga, it's the corpse position, meaning you just lie down, close your eyes, and you're breathing. Dude, that's one of my
Mm.
favorite positions. You could get blissed out, especially if you train
Ooh.
properly for it. Now, I know, dude, I know some people, Mark put to my attention, it's the hardest position for them. You and me, dude, we could vibe in Shavasana. We could just space out.
Mm.
But there are some people, they can't stay still. They're like a jackrabbit on fucking Red Bull, and then you tell them to
Mm.
sit still. It's so hard for them to do the Shavasana. So what I learned is life is yin and yang, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Now if we're strong in the Shavasana, being calm, then maybe our challenge is the other side, right?
Mm.
Move, pick up the pace, man, like that. So,
Yeah.
but then it's both sides. It's a balance of like learning
Yeah.
both, right? Again, if you're a jackhammer, workaholic machine,
Yeah.
earning a lot of money, but you don't know how to relax, dude, that's Tony Robbins' challenge, right?
Yeah.
So, and he does the cold plunges and all like that. So, it's healing is like both sides of it.
Mm.
So, it's an ice bath to the
Yeah.
yoga, and then yeah, I'll throw it back to you. But there are some other modalities too that are
It's
healing.
amazing, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing that I just want to paint a picture for everybody who's listening that for some people who suffer anxiety and difficult situations, you have Martin here, where you guys who is suffering from it cannot have control over it. You succumb to it. But when you have Martin here, who actually deliberately goes into the state that we dislike so much and battles it, tangles with it, and wrestles with it, there is that is the place where the birth of control and sanity comes back to you. The strength, the power comes back to you. Now, notice that he said that anxiety. Now, that's a common theme nowadays where we find ourselves in. With the theme is it could be anything. It could be from anywhere. It's something we are so risked on. We're naked around it, and you get again. You have Martin who willingly goes into that state to tell you it's all in your breathing. And second, yoga. Now, if you don't find yourself in a difficult situation like anxiety, but still difficult, like you're pinned down with something, but it's not anxiety, it's a heavy burden. Again, it's to teach you go into the breathing, go into the difficult situation, or somewhere around there, you can find a way. You can put yourself in a difficult situation where you're at the gym and it's so hard to lift the last few sets, and that could be like something of you, and then you actually just focus on the breathing while you're holding on to the difficult situation and just breathe through it, lift it, finish it. You'll come out on top.
Yeah, I want
And
to add super quick, Matt,
please, man, please, Martin.
on the
Yeah, go.
topic of anxiety and depression. Then I'll go back to you super quick. These
Please,
are
yeah,
like
no problem.
two quotes or lines I journaled, I think just the
Yeah,
other
please,
day, yesterday, I think,
please.
from Alex Hormozy. So he
Mm,
said, anxiety is the opposite of like depression or sadness. You have many
mm,
options in front of you, but you don't know which to take, which is a lack of priorities. And you solve that with a
mm.
decision. So in the ice bath, the way you get through the anxiety is you just focus on your breath. That's the only decision you do. If
Yeah.
you if you do in your thoughts, I want to get out, I want to stand up, it's too much,
Yes, yes,
too many
that's what it sounds like.
options, you will have anxiety. Then the last quote he said, super quick, is sadness comes from the perceived lack of options. You don't know what to do.
Mm,
That's why you feel sad. And you can solve that with knowledge. Sadness is
mm,
actually an ignorance issue. You just don't know.
mm,
So that was super healing for my depression. Because,
mm.
and it's easier said, right? Like when you go
Right.
through a breakup and people will say, oh, there are many fish out there, there's another girl or whoever. Dude, let's say you're going through an annulment or a
Mm,
separation with
mm.
your wife. Try to say the same motherfucking thing to that person, that you have other options. They will not believe you because their
Mm.
conditioning is she was my one, she was the one. Dude, once you
Mm.
get married, do you get married again? I mean, the
No.
way we were taught, right? So it's a
Yeah.
perceived lack of options. It's the end of the fucking
Mm.
world, right? So
Mm.
that's why all this stuff, if you're like, I get it, thank you. If not,
Mm.
then go in the ice bath, man. Sometimes we gotta
Mm.
go through
Yeah.
somatic, like a real experience to feel the lesson. So yeah, back to you, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And going back to where the ice bath prior to actually engaging in the anxiety and going to the more recent news you shared with us is when a relationship goes through a rocky path, you actually have to be authentic with yourself. I noticed there, Martin, you because you are you're very authentic with the problem. You see the problem, and it's different where you're fearful and you actually notice you're afraid. You notice the problem. You notice the problem in the relationship with yourself, with your spouse, or with your girlfriend or boyfriend, and you just accept it like anxiety. You have to look at it with I'm afraid, and in related, I uncomfortable as it can be, it's happening to me, and I noticed that you just go into it right away and just say how you feel, and that actually works.
Yeah. Well, I'll
Actually, the gateway into change. Yeah, please, Matt. Martin, go ahead.
so yeah, so that's also like double-edged, man. So I believe in like
Yeah.
if there's fear or
Yes, it
there's a
is.
problem, to just fucking admit it. And even my language right now, a lot of people, they may not how do I say this? They may not resonate or they might get triggered. And
Hmm.
I've tried,
Yeah,
dude,
please.
because I'm a bad
I got
liar.
it.
I've tried
Yeah, me
my
too.
best to be like this, even in the office, man. Now
Hmm.
imagine when your manager hears you and they're a little more conservative, right? Not everyone will, dude. My
Mm.
profile on Facebook. Maybe I don't know what they're saying. Maybe some
Mm.
people on the positive will say like what Matt Yusay is saying. Look at this person, so authentic, vulnerable.
Mm.
There
Mm.
could be another
Yes.
side of people who
Yes.
are like, look at this guy, man, fucking foul mouthed person, and they can
Yeah.
judge in so many ways. So,
Yeah.
man, it's not. That's how it is. That's how I see things,
Yeah.
man. But the reason why I say
Mm.
let's just dude, let's not tap dance around the truth,
Yeah.
right? Let's not walk on eggshells.
Right.
That's how
Right.
the
Yeah.
fear,
Say
or
that
that's
as it
how the
is.
problem like flows through you, dude. I lost friends, man. Maybe
Yeah.
because they didn't want to be around a person who was depressed, right? Maybe they weren't into Tony Robbins and like
Mm.
all this stuff that I'm going through.
Yeah.
Many people will treat you like a leper, dude. Like they would shun or shy away from you. And
Yeah.
I get it, man. But if that's the price to pay for the truth, to walk into my truth, man,
Yeah.
I'll just say thank you for the people who get it and who stay. And dude,
Yeah.
I want to get too religious here, but at
Yeah.
least I
Please.
know there was one kind of person who wasn't afraid to
Mm.
touch the lepers, right? Or the
Mm.
people who were fucked up and broken.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm not that religious, but this dude's still hanging around my neck,
Mm.
right? So for people on like the audio podcast, I got like a
Mm.
Jesus cross hanging on my neck.
Yeah.
So again, not that religious, but I still think he's a cool dude. So, uh, dude, that's the truth, man. That's what gives me peace. And it taught me this before I throw it back to you. If
Yeah.
anyone else is also walking that path alone, right? You're like, you feel, guy or girl, you feel fucked up, broken, like that. I'm gonna look at you like I look at myself, man.
Yeah.
And that became my mission in life, to help people not give
Yeah.
up
I love it, man.
on life. Yeah.
Yeah, man. What I really like about man forward, you don't even give doubt a chance to even speak up inside you, and you just tackle it with the truth, how you feel, you see out of your mouth, and as you go on that two-step, each step, you actually see each step too, because being authentic like yourself, you can just see the next step always. And it isn't actually, for people wondering, it isn't actually that uh linear, like if whatever Martin did, I could see that happening too. No, it's different, but it feels the same. But the secret is you gotta be authentic with it, even to the point where you don't even care what happens because you're here to understand it. And what Martin is able to do is what I really see and I love about you, man, is that you're so fierce with it. It's like again, Tony Robbins, man, through the
Yeah.
fire. You're actually just walking through the fire coal right now as you speak, and you're just going at it, going at it, going at it, truth after truth after truth. And it just reveals so much to you back and forth that you can't stop, from burning up. And and I think that's where your relationship with God gets so close is because you're wearing a cross on your neck. Uh, it's because you know how to take one step towards him, and he takes two steps towards you, and you feel secured in the path because you're just so honest, man. And your honesty, actually, like I've said with each one that I've been able to talk to, like I've chosen to share ideas is that fundamental thing I always write about. It's just the honesty, man. It's just there. It comes in different forms, in different translations. It just needs to be seen as that always because it's not that challenging to understand somebody when you actually see them being truthful to themselves. And
Hmm.
again,
Yeah.
paired with the knowledge you paid for, man, you paid a lot of money to understand a lot of things that made sense in corporate, where paired with your authenticity, it's just a match made in heaven, where you have the knowledge and the authenticity to speak it. And how you actually, like, knowledge is like knowing how to use a pencil or drive a car. And your authenticity is you understand how the process works from beginning to learning to actually being an experienced expert. And what sets apart from the clueless with the perceived by the public expert is that you just got to go through the bullshit, the difficulty. And if you're afraid of that, you're afraid of growth.
Yeah.
And if you don't, yeah, if you're afraid to be seen as incompetent or you failed in a relationship, all these things you have to voice out. Because again, you can't really get something back from the universe if you're not willing to speak what the truth you see right now in front of you is. It's not one key word to figure that out. Martin said a lot of things where you can find different pieces of how to express your truth. Now, the life will show you how to say one thing or something, and it's on you to say it like you mean it and mean what you say, like Martin does every day. He means what he say, leaves on social media, and you know he walks the talk. He says that as it is, and he knows that's his steps. That's his what it takes to be Martin Cruz, to be authentic, to be the things he chose to learn. He spoke out what he saw, and it's never a challenge when you can tune yourself like that. The only challenge is again what Martin said to Nina: rejection, because of the fear of judgment. You're afraid to be yourself because you're afraid of being rejected. Whereas the true translation to that is you can't be yourself, thus you will suffer.
Yeah.
So be yourself, guys, and find mentors, find people that add to that kind of understanding to you. I found, Martin to be the most authentic guy when I'm around. He just says what he sees, and I actually see what he says. Like, say it as it is, man. The first thing to actually learn from your mistakes with a lot of, Martin is, all guy. Like he grew up, with the dirt, and you can honestly say that he he just says it as it is. How even how tough it is, and you just gotta wrestle with the truth after once you let it out. You know.
Yeah.
And yeah, go for that. You want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to
Yeah,
add something. I'll practice it right now when he says, "Oh,
yeah,
Martin will
please.
just say it straight up." And by the way, this is not easy, and you'll
Yeah,
understand
it
after
is
I
not.
say this. So I was like in the my fortress of solitude. So here there's like a country club nearby where I have coffee.
Mm.
As I was walking to
Yes,
order
we've seen that.
coffee, there's a dude. Yeah, one time if ever I'd invite you, man.
Mm.
While I still can, I'm
Yeah,
still here. So walking
yeah,
towards the
yeah.
coffee, ordering a
Please.
coffee, and like there's this girl, back faced with like, it's like the
Love
sleeves
to.
are
I
just
would love
until
to.
the shoulder. It's like a short like that,
Yes, that's a
almost like a
great
tank
kind of look.
top
Yeah.
from the back. I'm like,
Mm.
this girl
Great
looks
look.
hot from behind.
Mm.
See, dude, it's not
That's
easy.
confidence right
You know
there.
this as a guy. This is public. People are gonna
Yeah,
judge, right? But that's how I felt in the moment. I was like,
yeah,
man, this girl looks hot. She looks good from the
yeah.
back. I didn't see her face.
That's it.
So who knows,
You
man?
gain
She could be a
confidence.
butter face, or she could be or she
Yeah,
could be a really beautiful face. I don't know.
you
It's
gotta
a
say what you
same
see.
thing. Yeah, from behind. And for some reason I got energy. Dude, I don't know if that's sexual
Mm.
or whatever, but it is what it
It's
is.
confidence, man.
It was maybe part inspiring because
Because you saw it
I got a
as it
surge,
is,
right?
rightly as it is.
Um and yeah, parang it felt good. That's all.
Yeah.
So the way I understood it also was, hey, what if a girl sees you and you're
Yeah.
handsome or hot or whatever,
Yeah.
and it just brightens up her day. That's what I felt. So
Let's go.
it's not gonna sound politically correct, but those who get it,
Hmm.
they get it. It's
Yeah.
still not easy for me to just
I
say
get it.
that publicly. So I'll make one last share, and then before I go back to you, is about fear of rejection.
Yeah, please, man.
Sometimes
I love it.
it's either the reason why I speak this way, or I do my profile, I do Real Talk
Yeah.
Lifeline, again, real, raw,
Yeah, I
authentic,
love
is
it.
because the way I
It
learned
is,
to
yeah.
speak this way, man, was somebody
Mm.
actually just showed me. Because
Yeah.
I didn't
Wow.
have permission
Mm.
growing up to talk this way. You get this if we're in a
Mm.
very conservative environment. You a girl growing up with the nuns, man, they're gonna smack the shit out of you, right?
Mm.
If you talk a certain
Say
way,
it.
right? So
Yeah. Yeah, certainly.
and the way I learned to talk this way was from a girl. Again, this was like in
Mm.
I think a singles encounter retreat. Man, super thankful for her.
Yeah,
Super
wow.
vulnerable share. Yeah. So
Whew.
it just gave
Beneficial.
me permission, and I talk this
Mm.
way
Mm.
because I just want to share it back. Now, your own
Yeah,
authentic
man.
way, you could speak your own language, your own vibe. Don't let
Yeah.
it limit you. And then
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
reason, and I'm gonna go back to you, Matt, is
Yeah.
when
Love it, man.
to overcome the fear of rejection is to just like have a higher purpose. So
Mm.
let's say you have your podcast, you have your voice.
Mm.
That
Yeah.
alone will, you won't think of the haters as much, you won't think of the judgment
Mm.
as much, the rejection, because you have something, man, dude. You have a mission,
Yeah, man.
you
You
have a
do.
higher purpose, you have a
Yep. You
vision,
do.
or whatever it is, man.
Yep. That you do.
Makes it easier. So yeah, those are the tips on overcoming fear of rejection
Yeah.
in the most authentic way you can. And if you don't,
Yeah.
if you're feeling lost in life, man, just listen. Keep listening,
Yeah.
or reach out
Again,
to
man.
Matt or
Tell the
me.
truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, before I actually want to talk more about that, and then we can uh yeah, tell everybody where they can find us more about this and then there. But again, going back to the subject where you were in this country club and you found
All right.
yeah, you
Go for
found this
it.
beautiful woman. Yeah, because I really love that story, man, because you sounded so confident, because I know what you did there for yourself. You actually accepted the truth, what you saw with your eyes. This is a beautiful woman, and the moment you said that, that's genuine. That's the truth. If you come up to that woman and say actually what you mean, you get things done. You get the attention you were looking for. You get the interaction you were looking for. You didn't say anything else. You saw a beautiful woman, a beautiful opportunity, a beautiful scenario, interaction that could happen, that could flourish. The only thing you need to do is say what you see. And when you can say that, things can go all sorts of ways, in the best ways. Now you
Yeah.
can start to begin imagining, oh, she might be into me too. But whoa, hold on, hold your horses, right? Let's do step one. Let's
Correct, correct.
actually, and then it goes back into the anxiety. If it's anxiety, you feel the beating of your heart to be. It's difficult. It's kind of like yoga. You go to approach it. Now you're in a difficult situation. Now, not be anxiety, but could be yoga. Now it could be a difficult situation. Just gotta breathe through it. Hold the weight and do it.
Yeah,
That's all it is, man. I from what I understood from you.
correct.
Yeah, go for it, man.
But I
Please.
just
I
want
see
to
your
add
heart pumping out
to
passion. Go for it.
maybe this is why it happened this way too. Just to be fair, also
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
women out
Please, man.
there. So when I was
Yeah. Yeah.
lining up for
Please.
my
Please.
coffee, right in front of me, there's this
Yeah.
dude, man, Moreno, bald, little tall,
Mm.
giving me the vibe, man, like he's the son of Gary Valenciano, like Gab
Oh
Valenciano. I don't know
wow.
if you know him, but you know his
Of
voice. He's
course.
got
Yeah.
this accent. You know, yeah. Well, give me the
He does.
coffee.
Yeah.
What's your membership number? Yeah,
Sharp.
108. You know, like he's like got this
Yeah.
presence, man. So if you're a girl and you suddenly see some dude like fucking Derek Ramsey or
Mm.
Gav Valencian or something like that,
Mm.
leaves an impression on you to have the ability, to just express. Because when I
Mm.
saw that dude, man, I'm not thinking about like, oh, I'm gonna get in her pants or whatever like that. I'm
Mm.
just saying what I feel in the moment.
Yeah.
So similarly, there's some people you maybe you get starstruck or you
Mm.
this person has a vibe, man, leaving an impression like that.
Yeah.
I also felt that from a guy. So if you're a
Yeah.
girl and for you to just express that openly in passing or something, man, to give yourself that permission, it's no big
Yeah.
deal. Man, if
Wow.
the guy reacts, if I react, then maybe I'm being insecure. Like if
Mm.
I'm with a friend, female, and she's like, "Oh damn, that guy's got abs," and I
Mm.
look, and the dude's really got abs, right? I
Mm.
could either feel insecure, or I can go, "Hey, she's right, though. Man, I want to do so. I want to go. Man, I want to
Mm.
work on my
Yeah.
abs, man. Something like that. It's could either insecure or inspire. So
Yeah. Wow.
again, but to express yourself freely, it's not just for me, for the guys. It's also for the women, right?
Yeah.
So
It's amazing, man. Where where progress meets you is actually when you see things as they are.
there you go.
Um. Yeah. And again, I saw there where you talk a little bit about how dysfunction in you can stop. Like it's the wrong. If you say the wrong thing to yourself, you're not gonna get anything done. You're not gonna get the abs worked out. You're not gonna get the proper things that you see to be an insecurity. You just gotta be happy for other people, man. And once you see that you can be happy for other people, you can be happy for her to be that she's so beautiful, and you can freely express that feeling inside you, and that gives you confidence to do the deed, which is just to talk, because that intention generates as you see beauty, right?
Yeah,
Or just for a fellow gentleman to accept that they are great, and you are in the presence of them, or in an area in a room full of great exceptional people, to be able to accept that fact is to recharge your own vigor to achieve your slice for that. It's just you gotta take things in a positive way. What Martin is saying, you gotta find it. The challenge is to find it.
yeah,
From there, if you're smart enough like Martin and me, you actually say what you see, mean what you say what you mean. Now, if you want
yeah.
to be difficult with yourself, don't say it. Say something else.
Dude,
Say
I have a
that it
tip.
won't work. It won't work out. Yeah, please go for it, man.
I have a tip because people who are saying, "Oh, that sounds like cool advice," but once I go up to the girl or the guy, I'm scared
Yeah,
shitless, which I get. I'm a highly insecure person,
it
just like
happens to
you.
me too. Yeah,
Because
yeah, me
and
too.
you can relate, Matt. Because people say, "Oh,
For
look
sure.
at this handsome guy right there in the screen. How can you be a dude?" I have the same thoughts. Like, oh shit, what am I
I
gonna
share
say
it. I
next?
understand
So,
you.
so here's a practical tip: if you actually muster up the courage, or you just appreciate in the moment. I learned this from my cousin, who He lives in
Yeah, please.
Canada. It's
Mm.
so helpful if you have a motorcycle or something, but it's like when you go in the moment, you take a look. You don't even have to say
Yeah,
anything, by the way. Let's say you
yeah,
look, maybe she sees you looking at
yeah,
her, he sees you looking at you, whatever. You turn away, dude, go to your motorcycle and leave. That was the advice of
yeah.
my
I get it, man.
cousin,
I
which was
get it.
hilarious. Or if you were talking to the girl already and you don't know what to say next, you just go, yeah, by the way, I gotta go. Bye. And then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just
I
ride
get
off
it,
on your
man. I totally get it.
motorcycle.
I totally get it. Yeah.
So
You know
this is
what
for
I
the
get from
people,
that,
yeah, who
man.
are saying, "Oh, that advice is so unrealistic" or something. Dude, I'm highly insecure. Sometimes I don't know how to do the phantom,
Yeah.
but that's one way you could just ride off
Mm.
in your motorcycle or get creative.
Yes, that right there. Get creative. If you don't have it in you yet to be that authentic, the authenticity to come out so natural. That yet again, but that comes with practice, which
Correct.
is always talked about here. Martin did explain to you guys that breathing practice, go into difficult situations, go into more other difficult situations aside from anxiety. And Martin actually gave you guys and me a way to deal with it, two ways. One is to practice your breathing when you're out of control, and to actually hold on to the weight and be with your breathing. And when it comes to the final part, the imaginative part, where Martin said that if you don't have it yet, use a tool. Use a drink, like buy a girl a drink to start the conversation if you don't know how to do that without a drink. It can be anything. You just have to be creative. But the thing is, it's supposed to get you to deal with the problem that you have. It's not supposed to derail you and go home and regret. It's supposed to help you do it. Now, again, if you don't have it in you yet, practice, practice, practice. Martin exercises a lot. If you follow his social media, he posts a lot. That's practice. Now he has other
Yeah.
philosophies that go into the practice. But again, if you don't have it in you yet, because it takes a long time to build that kind of muscle, and you really want to get things done in the moment, find a way, find a tool, find a way, and from there, if it helps you become more authentic, go for it, man, and or woman.
Yeah.
But yeah, go for it, Martin. Closing
Yeah.
remarks, please.
I want to add something quick on your when you said practice,
Yeah. Yes.
exercise. When I share, I'm a very sedentary person, homebody. So when I have a
Yes.
day where I do
See, I like that.
5,000 steps, or like
Mm,
I think a few days ago I pushed it to 10,000 steps, which is the
mm,
recommended. That's like 7 kilometers. Dude, I know people. I have a batchmate. He runs like a marathon, I think 42K. So, and then you don't have to do that, man. When I post
mm,
5,000 steps, that's like a joke. I'm like a
mm.
jester, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, it's partly humor. Like, it's so that I could laugh at myself. So when
Mm,
I do an exercise, and here's the thing how you build self esteem, what I learned from Tony Robbins,
mm,
it's when you do something extremely difficult to you, to
mm,
you, not according to
mm,
somebody else. So
mm.
if it was so hard for you to walk 10,000 steps, it was very hard for you to do that.
Yeah.
If it was very hard for me to just lift
Mm,
dumbbells,
mm.
35 pounds or something, and I
Yeah.
feel like almost
Yes, I get it,
dying,
man.
dude,
I
that's
understand.
one cookie in my cookie jar for me.
Yeah,
Because it's like going through
I
hell,
understand
man.
you.
So for you, it could be doing anything, push ups, taking a
Mm,
walk, jogging.
yeah. Yeah.
So do your own version of that.
Mm,
Man, if it's even just getting out of the bed, if you're weighing over 200 pounds and then whatever you do, man, maybe it's harder.
mm.
That's what I mean when Matt says exercise.
Yeah.
Or if you're an elite level
Yeah.
athlete already,
Yeah.
basketball player, you're looking jacked.
Yeah.
man, then I'm the one looking up to you already. So whatever you
Yeah.
share, I'm just gonna learn from you. There you
Yeah.
go.
Awesome, man. And again, what Martin eloquently puts it is he gave you multiple examples from athletes to even your own, or even from a difficulty from zero, from point zero, the starting line, no exercise. What that means, guys, is what Martin is trying to say is that all these examples are levels to the, because we learned from Tony Robbins, is that do what is difficult for you. Now, for Martin, it may not be difficult to do 10,000 steps because the guy is fit as fuck. Now, that for him could be somewhere between difficult and doable. But what Martin is looking for from what he learned from Tony Robbins is do something difficult that you can do. Now, don't do something easy. You you know you win. For example, Martin's fit, but he hasn't done 10,000 yet. But because he learned that overcome challenges and physically and mentally, you do what seems to be impossible 10,000 steps because he can do that. He believes he can do that, although he also believes it's a fucking challenge. But for
Yeah.
somebody who is weak and, you haven't exercised in 10 years and you're listening to this podcast, start with 500 steps. That's what Martin's telling. The level of
Yeah.
athletes, the level of people he spoke about is also your level of do something difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll
Yeah, please, man.
I'll add
Send,
quick
yeah, send
while
it.
you're transitioning to the next question or part is 10,000 steps. I'll just clarify at my pace of walking, that's like around 2 hours. So whether that's in the afternoon,
Mm,
at night, or in the morning, two
mm,
hours, man. That's a lot of time still of walking. And I'm just using the phone or the health app, the
mm.
pedometer, like that as
Yeah.
my basis. But then I'm coming from a sedentary person, someone who's here sitting down, lying down on the computer like
Yeah.
that most of the time. Now, the reason why we're sharing this is one thing
Yeah.
that can help you is if you get help, like by doing it with someone.
Yeah.
Now, if you can't, that you're, I don't have anyone. I'm socially awkward. Well, that's why we're making this video and this
Yeah.
podcast, right? Because
To
again, I'm a
help.
bad liar and I have a very low tolerance
Mm,
for bullshit.
yeah.
If you see any of my posts and I didn't do it, you could bitch slap
Mm,
me in my fucking face and
mm,
say, "Hey, you posted this and then you didn't do it." Dude, do that.
mm, yeah.
Bitch slap me in the face then. So
Yeah.
I'm showing like this is an example you could do, even though you didn't meet
Yeah.
me.
Wow.
Like you could try this.
That's right.
Look what Matt's
That's right.
doing. Yeah,
That's
back to
right.
you, Matt.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that, man. And I actually want to add to that what you added on, which is really great. And I think I truly, I absolutely agree. If you can't do it, get somebody to be with you. Now, if you can't be the type of person that can stand some next to some go for a walk or that difficult situation, this podcast, Martin said it right. If you don't want anybody to be physically there, listen to this podcast and walk. If
Yeah,
you don't want, yeah, just
5,000
be. We're
steps
here.
already. That's in
Yeah,
1 hour.
you're getting more done. The key again is going back to what Martin said is imagine the best possible way for you to get it done, to get there, the mission, the goal. That what Martin learned from Tony Robbins is to set something difficult for yourself to do today. And again, I always go back to what Martin said: be creative about it. That's why
Dude,
there's multiple ways. This podcast, yeah. Please, Martin, go.
Matt, you just gave me an idea. So I don't know when we're gonna
Yeah,
end this. We're 1 hour and 9 minutes in.
yeah. We're
Like
actually
if
gonna
you
end it now.
wherever you post this,
Yeah,
dude, YouTube or audio,
yeah.
when I go for a
Spotify.
walk, yeah, Spotify, when I go for a walk next time and I listen to this, 1 hour for me is about 5,000 steps. So if it goes longer, 2 hours, like that's ten
Mm,
thousand steps. estimate. So I get to do 5,000, ten
Wow.
thousand steps, and then you are my companion because I'm listening
Yes.
to it in the process. So that's an example
Yes.
of
I
being
get you.
creative.
I understand
There you
you.
go.
Yeah. There you go, guys. And yes, this is we are actually post this next weekend. So we're recording in February 21. This is gonna come out
Yeah.
either on the 24 and 25 of February. And again, what Martin said in the last parting remarks there. Again, just be creative, get it done, and I really think this episode with Martin really helps with that. If you're somebody who wants to get something done, which is difficult, this episode is for you.
Yeah.
And again, Martin, please, where can we find your strong presence in?
Okay.
Where can we
So
find you?
yeah, to make it practical, you could check out my Facebook profile because I update that daily. So
Mm-hmm.
facebook.com/ Martin Cruiser. So it's my name with
Mm.
an ER, Martin
Mm-hmm.
Cruiser. And then
Thank you, man.
it's easy to find it. It's public. So you'll see my counting my
Yes, thank you for that.
blessings. You see my cover photo.
I
If
love that.
it's, yeah, you want to see an example of a dream board or a vision board, if you want to
Yes,
test that. Real Talk
yes,
Lifeline. So I have
please.
a YouTube channel also,
Mm-hmm.
and I love this is why I'm doing the podcast on video also with you. I'd actually love
Yeah,
to share this. If you have like a file copy, I'd
I
love to
can.
share this on Real Talk
I'll send it
Lifeline.
to you. Yeah,
Yeah, so people can
awesome,
see
man.
this, man.
Will
They
do.
can hear
Sure
you
will
also, man,
do.
because you're talking
Thank you, man.
real, raw, and authentic. So
Yeah, thank you, man.
this is what
I
it's
appreciate
about, man,
you.
and it might help someone,
It's what it's
not
about.
give
Yeah,
up on life as well. So and
Lifeline
Instagram as
podcast. Love it,
well, I
man.
guess. Yeah, but my main updates are on my Facebook profile. Again,
Mm.
I'm not
Thank
really
you
a
for that.
fan of social media. I just use it mainly to document or
Me
to
too.
journal.
Me too.
In other
Me
words,
too.
it's like giving you real life examples. What did
Mm.
Martin do today? And it's really hard for me to share this on. You could
Oh
say,
yeah, my God, I
yeah,
love
like,
reading your stuff, man.
right? So let's say one day I just woke up, I was in bed for 12 hours.
Progressive.
It's very hard to share that, right? If
Mm.
you're like a type A high
You're so
performer.
authentic. So authentic.
So people will say, "Ah, dude, look at this fucking piece of trash, low life, non-productive." Yeah, I'm probably thinking the same thoughts if you're saying that to me.
Yeah.
So
That. Yeah.
I just share it, man. Maybe one
Yeah.
day if I'm making 1 million a year, or maybe
Yeah.
I reach 1 million a month,
Mm.
maybe you'll see
Mm.
it there, right? But
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, in the fucking abyss or the depths of where I
Yeah.
am, I'll share it.
Awesome, man.
If I reach heaven and I can give you
Yeah.
guys, money or support
Commend
some
you.
way one day, right? I got wham, I got walking around money, then you'll see it as well, like when I count my blessings. So,
Yeah.
Facebook, Martin Cruz, and then YouTube, Real Talk Lifeline, Instagram. This is what I use
Awesome,
to
man.
document. You can find me.
Awesome, man. And again, on documentation, I just want to end with this:
Yeah,
document, document, document. We talked about a lot with Martin Cruz here, guys. We talked about the challenge of rejection, the challenge of anxiety, the challenge of a difficult situation that you have to carry, and how to solve all these three things and more. Purpose of documentation is to actually solidify all these achievements, which Martin actually said in the first part. They are achievements. Now, at first glance, when we first talked about it, you guys may have not yet understood or seen the value of it. Now that we've discussed the difficulty that the life that goes into these achievements, now we can finally say that nation is filled with life. And that kind of life there left by Martin Cruz in his Lifeline podcast and his
yeah,
daily affirmations. Yeah. Um, that's how you do it. That's how you leave a mark. And again, Martin Cruz, please. And again, guys, thank you. Martin Cruz, please.
yeah. I just want to add super quick. I know you're closing on documentation.
Yeah.
The way I'd like to share documentation also is it's like sharing your life. So when I share my achievements, I also share my losses. I also share my bad
Mm,
days. I just try to, as much as possible, to be constructive.
mm,
So when I journal, I share the best lessons that saved my life. When I'm having a down day, I just show you. So I'm still alive, guys. But I'm gonna tell you, you see that black heart? I really had a down day, man. So
yeah,
documentation, I show you the good and the bad. It's like
mm,
sharing my life. And when you share your life with me, I see you. Sometimes it's
yeah.
the ugly parts that actually inspire me more because they're more honest.
Awesome. And again, meet it with enthusiasm. Meet it with. Actually, I just thought about because you ended with that. Because now we're all so filled with knowledge and how to tackle it. Don't you guys feel so enthusiastic now to just do it? Like Martin Cruz just said here and here. And Martin Cruz, thank you so much. You have been so valuable in the journey to a centered life and an authentic one and a genuine one. Again, man, so much. I love you, man. And for everybody, see you on the next one. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Matt. Love you too, man.